All right, we are live from Columbus, OH, and this is the Ramsey Show After Show, episode number 587, I believe. Yes. As I wait for myself to start talking, which I did. And so audio is good, I find. I am Coach Steve Money. I'm a Ramsey Solutions certified financial coach, and you're watching this on youtube.com/Coach Steve Money. And my financial content is right below the Oak Island and Skinwalker Ranch playlists with the Ramsey Show After Show playlist and the answering your financial questions with me, Ramsey Solutions certified coach Steve Money. And there's also the music playlist that has 12 Ramsey adjacent songs in there, including the newest one, When You Run, Baby Step Down. No spending money to seem cool. Dun, dun. When you run, baby, step down. Fun time, so listen to those if you're so inclined. If you think you could sing any of those better, by all means, send me a recording of you singing it. And perhaps I'll play it on the after show. Market report. NASDAQ leading the way, of course, 0.75%. And so that's going to be a new high for all of the indices today. I think maybe the Russell, not quite. Let's see here. Yeah, maybe not quite for the Russell Small Cap Index, but otherwise all the other indices, which is plural of index. You can't say indexes as well. But looks like all of them up to a new high. And not that long after obviously for the past week or so, it's been a new high more often, and that's what happens when it gets to a new high. Let's check the S&P 500. And so it just depends on when you want to say, when was the last correction, as they say, which is this 10% down even. Let's see, 6115, 52. Yeah, so that might be 10% down. And so when was it back? June 20th, 2025, and this is February. So February to June, that's March, April, May, June. So 4 months, and it's back too. And so the dummies that sold during this time, guess what? If you sold during this time, you lost money. You made a lot more if you were constantly buying all the way down to this low. Because all that was on sale, apparently, right? So quit being dumb and selling when the market goes down. The idea is it's retirement and that you are just saving it forever. And you're not tapping it until retirement. See what the rest of the planet is looking like with investing and everything up in Europe. Mostly down in the Asia, and if the trend that seems to be happening holds true, that means the US dollar will be down because the market is up, and up pretty decently as well. So let's just see. Yeah, euro is up against the US dollar, but the US dollar up against the Japanese yen. Or it was, and now it's down to the Japanese yen. US dollar down to the British pound, love. Down to the Canadian dollar, and down to the Australian dollar. And so I don't have a problem with that. Because the market's up. So and it doesn't go down and like stay down for long periods of time. It probably goes back and forth fairly regularly between those. And there's still a lot of days where the US dollar is up against all of them. All of them. Most followed single stocks on the Google. Speaking of the Google, Alphabet Incorporated is up 3% today. They had some losses previously. Let's take a look, like over the last month. And last month has been recovering. And the whole over 6 months. See, I thought they had some losses there. Maybe I'm thinking about something else, or maybe it's just from here to there is what I'm thinking. The past couple. Wait, when was this? Is this one day here? This is September 15th. Oh, this is this morning. Okay, so it's gone down since this morning. So if we look at the one day, then it's, nope, still above closing on Friday, which is indicated by the horizontal dotted line at the bottom. All right. But being up 3% is nice. That'll help out your large cap managed fund that you should be in instead of the index fund. And Amazon 2.1%. Tesla up 6.06%, and no stranger to being up or down 5+%. A lot of days, maybe not most anymore, but it used to be. It used to always be a wide range going up or down. Perhaps day traders being involved in that. Let's check out some headline. Trump advocates into quarterly earnings reports. All right. I don't know necessarily why you would want to do that. I mean, that would seem like it would make it harder for day traders and such. With what they're doing with retirement, it doesn't really matter because you're not changing anything based on the quarterly earnings reports. You're not going to change anything. You're still going to buy on schedule. Now you may have to switch out mutual funds if one becomes not as good. You may have to find a better one and switch to it. That is possible, but you would be able to still track that. You would be able to see the actual difference in the earnings on each mutual fund, and so you would need the report from each company. So, but I don't know why you wouldn't, and I don't feel like spending time clicking on it to see why that would be. If I remember, I'll check it after the show and get back to you on that tomorrow. Also stuff climbing because investors await the Fed decision after Nasdaq's record close. They, for some reason, they're thinking that there's going to be a rate cut, and so we'll have to see. China says NVIDIA violated anti-monopoly laws, significantly escalating trade tensions with U.S. Okay. Don't know. They have proof over that, and what exactly did they do, and whose anti-monopoly laws? China's or United States anti-monopoly laws? Ford to get new hometown headquarters. A glass house to be demolished. Oh, okay. I guess that's what it is now. It's all glass there for Ford. All right. That, I mean, I guess you can do that. That seems like a lot of money wasted if that was built anytime recently, like in the last 20 years. OpenAI CEO addresses controversies in sweeping interview. All right. Dear Abby, was I in the wrong for being at the hospital for my friend's final moments? If your employer did not excuse it and you just went, that's fine. You get to make that decision to see if you're justified, but also if you are punished by your job, you cannot complain about that. Let's see. Here's who gets Social Security payments this week on September 17th. Social Security recipients, I would assume. Don't know. Don't know why there would be extra. But you never know. Government is nutty. US UK aims to usher in golden age of nuclear in series of deals. All right. That's good to talk to the bloody UK. Good to be friends with somebody, with some other country, at least. Oh, that might be imposing on the family, is what Sid said about that. And what up, Sid? Didn't see you there. Coming in a good 4 minutes ago. My bad. I changed the setup so that the chat would be right there, and so I would see it more often, so I wouldn't ignore people that are so kind as to drop by and check me out. But yeah, imposing on the family, yes, definitely could be. Because a lot of times they want it to be a time just for family. And so, yeah, that's true. But, I mean, if you already did it, you can't go back and change it. I guess you could apologize to the family if you were putting on or if you caused a distraction or whatever, or made a scene. You could apologize, I suppose, but it's over and done now. Jet Demunda, should I sell my car? And most of the time when people ask, that means, yeah, they should. Because if the situation wasn't dire enough, most people would not even think of doing that. And there's so many people that call the Ramsey show and are in horrible debt and have big car payments and stuff like that, and they don't ever, you can tell they've never considered selling the car. Like there's no way, or even if they thought about it, they were, oh, sell the car? No, I need a car. But yeah, you do need a car, but not that particular one with a payment. Here we go. Gonna be as detailed as possible. Well, it's only 4 lines. And if I leave anything out, please ask below. 25 man car, 2025 Tesla Model Y. So you would not buy a new car. First of all, you don't buy a new car unless you are a millionaire. Income approximately 100K, contractor on the side. So you would also have to pay cash on it. Let's see, interest 0%. Yeah, balance 29,789, so almost $30,000. 51 of 60 payment. So 5 years of payments. So this is going to be a yes. Yeah. Insurance 160 to 200. Tesla insurance can fluctuate spending on safety score. No other debts outside of the car. Got an instant offer from Echo Park for $34,610. Then you're up. So yeah, do that. Then you got $5,000 to buy a car in cash. If I were to sell, I would go find an old Camry, early 2000s. How do we go from a 2025 Tesla to saying that an old Camry, early 2000s Camry is fine? Why wasn't that fine to begin with? People are nutty with their, oh, I gotta have this brand new Tesla. That's so nutty. And thoughts. And so I don't know what the car situation is. This person could have 30,000 in savings beyond the emergency fund, and in that case you would just pay it off and quit being dumb with your payments. Your debt leveraging, having extra cash laying around. And that's a no from Mr. Ramsey. He is not only the no debt guy, he's the no debt leverage guy. Joe, taxpayer. The debt-free scream. I admit I didn't go at my mortgage with the aggressiveness Dave suggests. Well, let's burn you at the stake then. But having refinanced in January 12 to match the remaining 15 years on my mortgage, right? Okay, so not only that, but you extended. So the mortgage was a 30-year mortgage, apparently. It was due to end January 27, and I plan to cut it short to make this an excellent month. Plan to cut what short? Paying off the mortgage? This month with my triple play, I just hit send to make my last payment. Great. And my rental property with a similar monthly payment also is paid in full. Great. So it doesn't have a monthly payment anymore. So that's kind of weird phrasing there. My wife is also starting Social Security and getting a decent monthly check. The difference, 2 mortgages no longer being paid, and the extra income from her Social Security totals close to half our budget. Even though we retired early, I was 50. We made sure to save enough to start at a 5% withdrawal rate. Oh, is this person's debt-free screen, maybe? Debt-free post? I thought it was some kind of... I guess it says debt-free right there, and the flare. This person does like to talk about his flare. Anyway, more than the 4% they suggest, right? And I just talked about this in the Ramsey show chat. Somebody was asking, how do you set your number, or how he asked everybody basically, how do you, what number are you trying to get? Is it a, percentage or a certain amount that you want to have by the time you retire that you base it on? And I basically said you don't know. You can make a guess based on inflation, current inflation rate, etc., etc., etc. But who knows? Nobody knows. That's too far off to be that confident that you're going to be correct about your decision. So that's why the advice is not any of those things. Is to live on less than you make, and so basically you would only take out what you need in retirement. But as far as the 4% people, how do you know that 4% is going to be enough to take care of your expenses? And if it's not, they never say what to do if it doesn't. They don't bring that crap up. They just say well, you can only do 4%, so you definitely don't cut into the principal. Yeah. Well, also, guess what? If it makes 10% average per year, you can withdraw 8% average per year is Dave's whole thing. So that's just how math works, but they don't like that for some reason. Anyway, now matching up the budget and subtracting Social Security is just under 3%. Okay, again, that stuff, you can't say that. Now, this person is actually, I guess, in retirement now, I suppose. Didn't he say he's already retired and she just got Social Security? Even though we retired early, I was 50, we made sure to save enough to start at 5% withdrawal. Okay, so that wouldn't be in like a Roth IRA or 401k, because then you would have penalties. So they must have had a bridge account, that kind of thing. And so that is what you do if you're going to retire early. So you don't get hit with those penalties on the retirement accounts, tax advantage government retirement accounts. Planning to up our annual gifting to our daughter to help her save for her first house, and increasing charitable donation. Our spending slash budget always aimed for 10% to charity, but my wife and I talked and agreed that now is the time to bump it up to 15%. Okay, great. In step 7, you can do that, especially if you can afford it. Local charities I can actually stop and visit, such as a center for homeless vets. Great. School for the blind. Great. A charity my wife's doctor started 20 years ago to provide health care to homeless women in a nearby city, etc. All that's fabulous. And that's a good reason. That alone would be a good reason to get to step 7, but also your own stability and financial peace, of course. In hindsight, the key to success, question mark, a couple whose values are aligned nearly 100% and not judging each other. Yeah, that certainly helps for sure. And so I guess this was their version of debt-free scream, but never yell debt-free, I guess, other than the flare right there. But congratulations. Spork Fan Club. All right. And of course, the first rule of Spork Fan Club is that you do not talk about Spork Fan Club. If you're not familiar with that, that is a combination spoon and fork. And so they have it's like a fork, but it also has a spoon attachment basically. It's got the handle and then the little cuppy area there, and then that goes out into some small tines. Obviously the tines aren't as long as they are on a regular fork. Anyway, should a medical balance be fully paid off with savings or checking? If you can cash flow it without going into the emergency fund, then you would do that. Haven't yet hit my deductible for health insurance yet, so my outstanding balance for my psychiatrist is around $1,600. All right, and so those, if you are seeing the psychiatrist X number of times, like on a schedule, that's a known upcoming expense, and you should just budget that instead of that like constantly adding to an outstanding balance. So you're doing it wrong, and you would not have extra savings other than your full emergency fund. And if you have a psychiatrist appointment, that is just an expense that is also not an emergency because you know it's coming up. So for that, you might have to not spend money on something else. You might have to kick something else out of that budget. I have the means, $1,600. I have the means to fully pay it off, comma. What's the question then? So I plan on doing so. Great. The question is whether to charge it to my credit card. Why are we still using a credit card? Are you not familiar with Mr. Ramsey? He's the no debt guy. He's the no credit card guy. He's the no debt leveraging guy. Why would you do that? Checking your savings. Credit card balance is around $700. You're doing it wrong. Will be paying off fully on Friday, as I always do when I get paid, whether or not I charge it to that. Credit score is 775. I don't care about it, so not worried about that whatsoever. We don't care about credit score. Not necessary for anything. Checking account balance is about 2,700. Expecting to be in the vicinity of 4,400. You know what? Here's what I'm going to say about this. My name is Paul, and this question is between y'all. You're not following the Ramsey advice, so I'm assuming you don't want to follow the Ramsey advice, and yet you ask a question on the Dave Ramsey subreddit, but I think you don't like his advice and you want to do your own dumb crap, so you can do your own dumb crap without any input from anybody else. I don't understand these people that they come on here and ask that. I don't go, it's kind of like trolling, kind of. I don't go and I don't ask about, Dave style advice in other financial forums. I don't do that. That's dumb as crap to do. So, you're doing it wrong. You're doing it your own way, and bless. You know what I'm saying? You can do it if you want to. You're the one that makes that money, and you're the one that has to live that life with these decisions. So I fully support you doing whatever you want to do. It's just not the best thing to do financially. Mr. Ramsey knows that, and that's why there's a subreddit with his name on it, because he knows better than your dumbass. Alrighty, responsible ant 6254 looking for a good budgeting tool now that my subscription expired, and I do a little thing. Oh, it's called spreadsheet, and I use Google Sheets. That's free. You can access it from any computer or phone. And so, yeah, spreadsheet can do exactly what you want it to do. Now, if you want it to look exactly like an app of somebody's app, then you probably are better off doing an app then. But I don't have any. Yeah, or just build your own system in Excel, Google Sheets. Yeah. Curious what's worked best for you. Yeah, I didn't like Every Dollar because I tried it. Didn't like it because it didn't do what I wanted it to do, which was what my spreadsheet did. And so basically I was hoping it would do kind of like what my spreadsheet did, but it would have, look better graphically and stuff like that. But it did not, so because it didn't work the same way. So the beauty of the spreadsheet is you can make it work however you want to make it work. Should I do savings or checking? JK. Yeah, just kidding. I actually wanted to ask about my credit card. Yeah, Sid. And that's, the whole problem with this is that people are actually this dumb. Now, it could be somebody doing it on purpose, trolling, etc. But there are people that are this dumb, where that was the actual question, and to work the credit card in there. And so I would lean towards troll, but who knows? Who knows? Dumb regardless. Should we sell the truck? Again, if you're asking, probably so. Frosty Air, 2407, 27 years old. My husband is 31 years old. We made a terrible financial decision 1.5 years ago by purchasing a brand new Chevy Silverado Trail Boss. Put $17,000 down and have paid 18 payments, which totals to around $28,000 already spent. Well, that's what we call stupid tax for your terrible financial decision. So that's how that works. You sell it. Still owe $33,000. The payments are $630 a month. The truck has around 23,000 miles. The dealer said we could get $38,000 for it. Great. That means you should be able to get $40,000 or more from private sale, so do that instead. But even if you were to give it to the dealer, then that still is a net $5,000 apparently. The problem is my car has maybe 2 years left of life if I'm being generous, and we can't afford a second car payment. Well, the idea on the Ramsey plan is no car payment. So if your car is gonna die, then you buy a new beater, a new to you beater. If you're in baby steps 1, 2, or 3. So you're doing it wrong. You're thinking about it wrong. In addition, I would love children. Has nothing to do with this car decision at all. Has zero to do with it. You certainly wouldn't be taking on a brand new Chevy Silverado Trail Boss truck. Unless you're hauling the children in the back, and you're probably not having enough children at one time to necessitate a pickup bed for their transport. For reference, I have a Kia Soul 2016. And why does it only have 2 years left? Because you want to fix a problem that's not a problem yet. You're making a problem. Now, I get it if you've actually looked into it and they have that much lifespan average. If you figure that out, I'm sure. But see, the problem is people are nutty and they make up stuff like this to justify the dumbass crap they want to do. Anyway, I do regular service and it's had so many problems come along. Okay. And if you buy a new car, it would be with cash, and that car could have just as many problems or more, or it might not have any. Should we sell the truck? Yes. And get an SUV because you want to have children or a child, a singular child. You do not need an SUV. I have 2 children, transported them at the same time as each other in a compact car, and they are still alive. One is 20 years old, the other one 21 years old, and the other one is 29 years old. And that makes me old, of course, as well. But they made it. They lived after being transported in a compact car. So quit being stupid with your SUV crap. Or should we just grind and pay the truck in 2 years? No, you should sell the truck. Because you just said, okay, so here's the problem. You just said it's a terrible financial decision. So what you would do when you start following the Ramsey advice is you would undo all the dumbass crap you did before. And so you would sell it. You know, no need to grind and pay it off because you shouldn't have bought it in the first place. If my car bites the dust, we won't have any savings because we would throw everything at the truck besides an emergency fund of $10,000. Unless she accidentally typed that and was supposed to be $1,000, you're doing it wrong. So you keep the emergency fund of $1,000 while you have any debt. If this is your only debt, that's not your mortgage, then you would fix it when selling the truck, and then you would be out of debt. And so then you would get to keep your emergency fund that's $10,000 that you have too much in right now. Ideally, we would like to start trying for children in a year, and that doesn't mean you need an SUV now. Dumb. That's so dumb. Other information is we do own a home payment. It's $1,500 a month. Right, that's got nothing to do with it. That's in a separate category. That gets paid off in step 6. But the truck is step 2, and you're doing it wrong. Make combined $80,000. And so you already said it's a terrible financial mistake. So how you undo it is you sell it and quit trying to justify it, and quit trying to justify an upgrade to an SUV. That is the dumbest crap I've ever heard of. No, I'm lying. It's not. I often say that, though. It's pretty dumb. Sid says, bet that Trail Boss has barely been on a dirt driveway. Yeah, because it's a Kiyo. LOL. Oh, is that why they're not that good as far as reliability? I know Toyota and Honda are the go-tos, and that's probably about all I know about cars. Thought I was gonna sneeze. It went away. YO Billy 87, Wyoming. Man 56. I can relate to that. I'm paying off my mortgage tomorrow. Excellent. Bought my house for $590,000 in 2007. Got divorced in 2017. Made some big principal payments against others' advice. Oh, they wanted you to debt leverage instead. Well, I'm so glad you have a brain and can do your own thing rather than listening to other people. They are dumb. You are doing the correct thing. I'm feeling pretty good now. Feels so liberating. Thanks for all the advice. I think it's sound and absolutely the right path. Peace. Exactly. So, might be piecing out there or might be talking about financial peace. Either way, it's fine and both are accurate. Kias and Nissans aren't great, is what Sid is saying in her expert car experience and advice. And of course, I would take her word over mine. I do not know much about cars. Grady's so cool. Confused between baby steps 3 and 4. Well, let's see. So you see, and yes, being condescending. So you see, Theo. Baby step 3 is your full emergency fund. Okay. Step 4 is investing for retirement. How are you confused? Let's dive in, shall we? And of course, it's more than that. Beforehand, though, before reading it, let's just glance at the official Ramsey step list here. And says step 3 says save 3 to 6 months of expenses in a fully funded emergency fund. And step 4 says invest 15% of your household income in retirement. And now, granted, if this is the case, this might be the problem. It does not have a line here, like a black line drawn across there, because step 1, 2, and 3 are done one at a time without even thinking about further steps. Like you wouldn't even think about step 2 until you have the $1,000. There's no need to. And it may take you off track from getting the $1,000. So you finish step 1, then you move to step 2, and only then do you move to step 3. And now 4, 5, and 6 are different because you do all 3 of those at the same time, but in that priority order. And you don't do them like the other person that wanted to buy an SUV because they wanted to start trying for children in 1 or 2 years. No, there has to be a child for you to do step 5. So, and there should already be a child at least on the way before you start buying things with that child in mind. People want to do everything all in advance and plan everything out, and life doesn't work that way. Okay, let's see what the problem is. Oh, it said before that, though, and YouTube plugged in an ad. Fun times. So I should not say that ever again. So it puts an ad right there. Hi, I'm 25, married. Both of us have grown up under the Ramsey umbrella. Ella, and have tried to make financially wise decisions. Do or do not. There is no try. We made decent scholarships in college and are now graduated with no debt, a working car, and have about $60K in cash outside of retirement. So would you have that without any debt? No, you wouldn't. So hopefully there's no debt. And I would assume $60K would suffice to be a full emergency fund. So you would theoretically be done with step 3 and could move to step 4. Let's see. The problem is our position is not super settled as I'm in school for a PhD on stipend. No worry about student loans. Okay. And we make more than we need to live on. Okay, what's the problem? Question is, what even is Dave's stance with what to do with the cash? We're not planning on a mortgage due to our not being planted. I guess because could move after you get that PhD, I guess. But also it leaves a bad taste to eat 3.5% in inflation each year. All right. Well, inflation happens. You just need to embrace the reality of that. It's illogical to try to work around inflation. You don't work around it. You just accept that that's what's going to happen. And you, of course, can try to out-earn inflation. You can certainly try to do that. Let's see. Our plans were to put the money above the 6 months, probably about $15K, which we are in the process of moving to a high-yield savings account, and split it in investments, with half in the S&P 500 and half in 0 to 3 months Treasury bonds. Mr. Ramsey does not advise bonds. He also wouldn't advise using the market for a piggy bank unless you were definitely not going to use the money for 5 years. Let's see, since not needing it at the moment, and so can incur a bit more risk, but don't want it all in the market. Well, you would just do high yield savings account then. No bonds. But I really am scared because I've never invested in the market before. Oh, you poor thing. I just wanted to know if anyone knew his opinion on this type of middle time range investing, because I can't find anything. Thoughts? I'm going to go ahead and guess you didn't look that far either. You didn't look that hard on the internet or on the YouTube. He says the 5-year thing quite often, because anything below 5 years, the market is more likely to be down during that time. Edit, I just realized step 4 is retirement. Thought that was 6. No, dude. You're doing it wrong. All right. Well, you should have just deleted your post then. And then I wouldn't have wasted time with it. I guess it's not. It's all content. It's not wasted time. So we are really just confused about what to do, as steps 5 and 6 are not in the plans right now. Well, then you don't do them, and so you start investing for retirement. And congratulations, you're on step 7 until you decide to have a child or buy a house. Which I assume you might want to buy a house. I mean, and if you do, you should be putting 15% into retirement. And at the same time, you could be putting some in the market. If you know you're not going to buy a house for 5 years, you can use the market for a piggy bank for that. Otherwise, just the high yield savings account. Again, no bond is... Mr. Ramsey, not a fan of those. All right, fun times. So you just read the steps wrong, which that can and does happen quite often. So I really don't know why you would have been confused, but hopefully not confused anymore after theoretically this person tuned into the show to listen to that. Also, 13 comments. Perhaps somebody straightened the person out. See, the problem is, the whole problem is with your average person looking at this list, is that they are not unlearning everything that they already learned so far from parents, other friends, whoever, with bad financial advice, all the marketing of debt that's done to them over their entire lives, that kind of thing. And they don't just get rid of that first and then come into the baby steps tabla rasa. That means like a, what is that? Well, it means empty table, something like that. White table, something like that. Basically, without any preconceived thoughts about it. But often what they do is they take what they are doing and what they want to continue to do and try to fit them in here somewhere. That's not how it works. If what you're doing right now is not on this list, then you don't do it. You stop it. So, but that's what happens. And people just, they don't want to change, and so they have a tough time interpreting them correctly, or they're like fooling themselves, kind of, because it is not that hard to understand. Although I do have to give people a break for not knowing that steps 1, 2, and 3 are one at a time without doing higher steps, and of course 4, 5, and 6 as they apply, if they're applicable. 4, 5, and 6 at the same time in that priority order. Now, for this couple, they might buy a house one day, and if so, then you're back in step 3B, which that's where you save the down payment. And you could even be deciding to do that now. And like I said, if you invest 15% of the household income into retirement, then congratulations, you're on 7, since 5 and 6 don't apply. But if you know for sure that you want to buy a house and you want to start saving a down payment, you can do that. And guess what? You're in step 3B and 4, and that ratio is up to you. Something which I wouldn't necessarily recommend, but in this case, because it seems like your plans are further off than that, but for up to 2 years, you can not invest completely. Invest nothing completely, and all that money goes to save a larger down payment faster, and that is often needed as a cheat code to be able to afford a high cost of living area house when you don't have a high cost of living area salary. Square Chocolate 155. The first in my family to live in America. No, to be born in America. It's from Back to the Future Part 3. Highly recommend that trilogy. Watch it if you have not. First in my family trying to figure out credit. Where should I start? Nowhere. We don't care about credit. And of course, look, locked post. So, and it only got 2 comments there. Only 2 comments. So maybe one of the mods just blocked it based on the title. But let's see. Let's read a little bit of it. I come from a middle class family where money was always tight, but my parents worked really hard. And sorry, I don't want to repeat the mistakes I've already seen people around me make. Okay, well, who knows? I mean, definitely the wrong subreddit for it. But if this person has only heard of Dave Ramsey like a few days, may not have been exposed enough to him to know that he's the no debt and no debt leverage and no credit card and no lines of credit guy. May not know that. So, so again, this would be normal. This would be an average person going on what their dumbass parents told them, just like my dumbass parents told me dumbass stuff. And so I did dumbass stuff, and it wasn't all their fault for sure. But they certainly put I heard probably every week in my house from the time I was like an early teen. I would probably heard you're always going to have debt, you're always going to have a car payment, and guess what? That was all bull crap, because that is not the case. So they were wrong. And so but trying to break out of that, I understand, and even not even knowing maybe that it's all BS and you need to break out of it. I can give some grace on that if it is, but again, if it's somebody that knows Dave is anti-credit score, anti-credit cards, etc., well, you're a dumbass for posting on here then. Careful topic. 8986. Let's be careful. Or what is it? Emerald Lagazi used to say, be careful. Guidance. I grew up in a divorced household. More to it. Let's open the entire thing here. I grew up in a divorced household where money was always tight. I never really learned healthy financial habits. At 19 and 23, I purchased 2 homes with my partner. Okay, you're doing it wrong. You don't buy houses with a partner, only with a spouse. You're doing it wrong. And also, we don't buy two houses. I'm assuming mortgages. You can have a mortgage on your residence, but not on any rental properties. You don't do loans for any type of business thing. That's a no. Now, as we're separating, beep, 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 and planning to sell our house, you said you have two houses. Illogical, Captain. I'm realizing how deeply I've fallen into credit card debt and car loans. Oh, just now realizing it. It didn't occur to you ever when you were just using the card and using the card and using the card and getting car loans. You have more than one car that you have a loan on for yourself. Hopefully it's one car each or less than that. Let's see. I know I made choices like buying cars I couldn't afford. Yeah, well then how did it sneak up on you then? Because you don't pay attention, and that's the whole thing about being intentional is the Ramsey advice with money. Instead of saving or going to school first, I'm not afraid of hard work or even going back to school. But going back to school doesn't fix anything because school is not free most of the time. But I don't want to keep repeating this cycle and carry debt into my 30s. Well, great. Then don't do it. Stop living the way you're living now. Your program has helped so many people, correct, including my ex-partner's parents. Well, then you should have darn well known, again, if you were familiar with that, why didn't that apply to you before you realized there was a problem? See, people are so nutty. They don't have any kind of alarm system that kicks in when you're about to do really stupid stuff. And I did stupid stuff and had debt, but I didn't do anywhere near the kind of debt that these people are doing, or even that the average people are doing. Your program is, oh, I did that already. I'm ready to learn and take whatever steps are necessary to get control of my money and build a solid future. It's easy. Stop being dumb. Could you point me towards the best steps or resources within your program for someone of my situation? Thank you for your time and for the hope your message gives people like me. Okay, writing this like this is run by Ramsey Solutions. It's not. On Facebook, the Ramsey Baby Steps community is run by Ramsey Solutions. That is the only one. That, of course, in their website, RamseySolutions.com. That's all that's run by them. Anything else is going to be fans. This is run by fans, this subreddit. So yeah, you just you sell those cars probably. Hopefully the car that's for him is not something that you signed up for the debt on. And if you did, that was really stupid. It doesn't matter if you love your partner or not. That's still dumb as crap. So hopefully, but yeah, you sell the cars, you buy beaters, and then you just work your ass off and don't buy anything that's not 100% necessary to live while you pay off your debt and then save your full emergency fund. You did it wrong, so stop doing it wrong. Do it right. Baby steps. It's right there. And so, and also don't just look at the baby steps and just go from there with what you think it means. Make sure you understand fully all 7 of them. Of course, you're only doing steps 1 and 2 in the very near future. So that's the main thing to pay attention to. Responsible aunt. 6254. What's an irresponsible aunt, I wonder? Thanks for the advice. Quick follow-up question. I really appreciate all the advice you gave me on my last post about budgeting apps. Helped a lot. So thank you all. Now I'm still torn. Nothing's fine. I'm torn between using an app and just sticking to a manual system like Excel, Google Sheets, or planners. For those of you who tried both, which worked better in the long term? It's the same answer as before, my friend. It didn't work for me. The EveryDollar app work and other apps work for a lot of people. So whatever will work for you is fine. Appropriate avocado gift tax in a recent episode. Dave said that gifting a house to your kids would cost you a 55% tax. Gift taxes only applied if you reach the lifetime exemption limit of $14 million. Why does he say that will cost you so much to deed your house to your kids before you die? Because that is a gift. Now, you can specify, I believe, I don't think it has to be cash, but I believe you can specify that you want that to be applied to your lifetime limit. And so if you apply it to your lifetime limit, then you wouldn't be taxed on it, as far as I know. So don't know, maybe this person has already given a lot away, and a lot of times people want to do stuff like one person wanted to open a ESA, educational savings account, or state 529 plan for a nephew or something like that. Somebody wanted to open a Roth IRA or something like that, and so you shouldn't do that. Regardless, it should be in their name, and then you can just give them money to put account in. You put the money in their account. And so that would be the problem with that. But as far as the gift tax, yeah, you have your $14 million exemption. So you just have to apply the house to that. But the problem, if you're talking about, I do remember one episode recently where it was to deed the house to the kids before you die. You want your name on it as long as you're alive. You don't want the kids owning the house. That's dumb. Just leave it to them in your will. They don't have to be on the deed. That's not going to make anything easier or anything like that once you die. So you just leave it to them. And then there's no, it doesn't even apply to gift tax at all then, because you haven't given it to them yet. Plastic Kraken. Kraken starts with a K. If it's supposed to be the sea creature. I've followed Dave Ramsey since I was 15, 36 now. I don't really have anyone in my life I can celebrate where I'm at with, so I figured I'd share. Great. I have no one in my life I can, right, we got it. My parents got me a Dave Ramsey book to read in high school. I can't remember which one, but ended up getting both of them. I don't know which both he's talking about. Dave Ramsey has a bunch of books, not just two of them. I assume one of them's Total Money Makeover. Don't know what the other one would be. There's several. When I graduated college, I decided to live my life the way he described. That was good advice. That's good a decision. I've always socked away enough income to max my 401k, even though it resulted in me living very frugally. Okay. My wife has also made a point to max hers as well, as I tried to make sure I married someone with my zeal to save. Yeah, oh, wait, you mean you talked about money before you got married? How novel. Most people just wait and let it be a problem after they are married. Like about, oh, I don't know, 5 years in, and then you find out the person and you are not economically compatible, which is dumb. So you did well. I still shop for deals years later and drive paid off vehicles. As a result, we have a paid off house, 2 paid off cars, and a retirement account hovering around $600,000. It made me realize, let's see what it made me. Made me realize that we're officially millionaires. Okay, yeah, as long as a house and 2 paid off cars are worth 400K, then yeah, you're a millionaire. Congratulations. When I was reading Dave talk about them, it sounded such a far, far goal to reach. I mean, it has been your entire life so far. It has been, if you started doing, I mean, when you started at 15 even, where you didn't even have any debt, or you got that, or you paid it off, after you graduated college, you decided you maybe paid off everything, but maybe you never had any loans at all. And that gives you such a head start over everyone else. Or were we? Far we go. I set and forget my 401ks into index funds, and that is not the advice. So you could have more than that, leaving money on the table by just doing the index funds. If you do managed funds, you can make more money than the index funds, even after you subtract the larger expense ratio. People are nutty with their love for index funds. And just focused on living life. I had 2 kids, and we just lived with what we brought home. Since we'd been doing it from day one, we never missed the money going into our 401ks, since we never had to begin with. Right, that's great. And now that I think about it, it's a really good feeling to have passed that milestone. I'm incredibly thankful to Dave to have guided us here. It's enabled us to start 529 for both girls and hopefully be able to pay for their colleges. Why wouldn't you be? Why wouldn't you be? Even cash flowing it. Maybe then you can't put as much into retirement as much as you're investing now. So, but you would just add that into the budget. Why couldn't you, you start saving? You got the 529s. And so why is it only hopefully be able to pay? So that's nutty. That's kind of weird. I'll be able to buy my dream home in retirement or retire at 50. Okay, see, the problem is you cannot do all of this stuff all at the same time. Okay, that is going to be the problem. You're now doing what people, because you didn't do it when you were younger, like everybody else is, trying to do things all at the same time, and they use debt to do it. That's how they get in the trouble here. And you might not ever go into debt, but the problem is now you want to use so much money for so many different things. I mean, if you can buy the dream home with just the equity in your current house that's paid off, then that's great. That's no extra money, but I feel like for me, it's going to be extra money. Okay, and when you retire at 50, you will not be able to take money out of the 401k without penalty. So you would need to plan for that as well. I couldn't have done it without my wonderful wife. Just wanted to celebrate a little, but don't think anyone in real life would care to celebrate a, hey, I'm a millionaire party. LOL, I would like it. If this was Ramsey, sorry, I'm a bit high at the moment. All right, well, I would think I'm a millionaire party would be cool, but then again, I'm not jealous of people that made better financial decisions than me from an early age. I am happy for them. All right, so the plan is an after show every day this week. And so on tomorrow morning's after show, Here for the sun. Doo-doo-doo-doo. After a lot of work and sacrifice today, I can say consumer debt free. Great. Another kind of debt free stream here. So we'll get into the details of that. Any success stories for folks who discovered Dave later in life and did a modified version of the baby steps? So you want to do it wrong is what you want to do. And you want other people justification. And of course, a Michigan fan. Of course. There may be some people, but that doesn't mean your experience will be the same as theirs. And also, you should do not a modified version. This is the proven way to do it. Anything that you modify does not have a track record. So do you want to risk that? I would not. 008, advice on loans. I need some advice on 2 loans I have, so we'll find out what that is. And no debt leveraging. So if you have loans to have a rental property or something like that with business, that would be a no on that. Escrow, what about it? Is there any merit in getting rid of escrow and paying your insurance property taxes yourself? You can, but I mean, now some mortgages require that you give them that money so they can buy it. So it just depends on if your mortgage, an agreement with the bank or the lender, requires you to do that. Sid says about apps. If you are tracking manually, it's just personal preference. The app shines if you pay for it. Right, every dollar app because of it being able to import from banks. Not all banks though, so you got to make sure it works with your bank too before you buy it. Debating condo versus single family home. All right, maybe depends on how big. Maybe gonna try some house hacking or something and rent part of it. That is not advised by Mr. Ramsey, of course. What's the most powerful, useful underground website that most people don't know about? Underground. Gutenberg.org, 70,000 free ebooks. StopOverpaying.org. All right. I don't know that these are underground. They may be little known. Does that mean they're underground? I use Slick Deals when I'm going to buy something. I checked it for Xbox controllers when I needed one recently, last week. And, of course, none on sale. So I just went to Walmart and got mines. Wiki Chaos, sell investments to pay debt. Yes, if they are not anything that's not in a retirement account, you liquidate. If you have a full emergency fund to pay and you have debt, you're doing it wrong, so you would liquidate it to do that. If you have single stocks, if you have anything in a brokerage account, you would sell those. Snowball out of order, again, doing it your way has not been proven, and also it's going to make it take more time if you do it out of order. People are so nutty wanting to change their finances enough to come to the Dave Ramsey subreddit, enough to be exposed to him at all, enough to look into Dave at all, and then don't want to change anything about what they're doing. That's dumb as crap. But people are nutty. We know this already. Alrighty. No drop frames. Cool. Good stream. Alrighty. Once again, I am Coach Steve Money. I'm a Ramsey Solutions certified financial coach. And if you are having money problems, or you just want to make sure you're on the right track, you can schedule a free financial coaching consultation / assessment with me at calendly.com by emailing coachstevemoney@gmail.com. I used to use Calendly, but my schedule changes too much now, especially at the last minute. so too much trouble to update the website. Donations, paypal.me/coachstevemoney. Alternatively, Cash App, $CoachSteveMoney, or Walmart gift card to that same email address, coachstevemoney@gmail.com. Upcoming streams, subject to change. The Ramsey Show Aftershow show, 11:05 a.m. Eastern, Monday through Friday. Yes, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. September 15th, that's today, through the 19th. And answering your financial questions streams 8 p.m. and maybe one or two during the week if I don't do an after show that particular morning. So otherwise, there won't be any evening streams this week until the weekend. And so Saturday and or Sunday, I generally do at least one of those, if not both. Alrighty, thanks so much for watching. Please subscribe, like, and comment. And as always, make smart, not dumbass, make smart financial decisions every day.